Welcome back in, everybody, to the Porpoise Pod. As free agency, we are in the midst of free agency as a lot of action happening these first few days for the Dolphins, bringing in Jalen Ramsey, signing David Long, Duke Riley is back. Couple things we should get to here, Solana. First of all, going into the weekend, we got the news of Tua's fifth-year option, which, I know stunned a lot of the football world, even though the general manager and the coach have both been on the record multiple times saying their quarterback, they believe in him. The coach is actually on the record with microphones and cameras and everything saying he wants Tua to be the quarterback for a long time. And so I know that this was a huge shock to a lot of media people. But Solana, the Dolphins, kind of putting a bow on this Tua controversy for right now, even to the boldest of skeptics.
There was a Tom Brady story, and then apparently he has a cat now. There was all the Lamar Jackson speculation.
Let me just say, I'm very disappointed in Rich Eisen. I thought Rich Eisen was one of the good ones. He seemed to be, remember he got in it with Mike McDaniel as Mike got the job. They had a little buddiness at the combine. Disappointed in you, Rich Eisen. You changed.
What the hell is he doing with the Brady stuff? What the hell is he doing?
I don't like it. Lazy. I expect that from a Florio, not you, Rich Eisen.
The second Daniel Jones got that contract, $40 million a year, whatever the hell it was, I thought, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel can't call up Tua and his agent quick enough to get him with that fifth year. Like that was and I know a lot of people felt the same way. You risk, if Tua does end up this year staying healthy and playing that well, you risk having to pay him that and probably more next year. But now, you've got him under wraps, and I think, bro, that was a no-brainer. Like, it was a no-brainer at that point.
It's such a weird thing, man. Like, look, I'm not a guy. Like, I like Tua. I really root for the guy. I like Tua. I think if you're a Dolphins fan, he seems as likable as it gets. I really don't get the weirdos. I get these wacko texters who goes, I hate Tua. I can't wait for him to fail. I don't think they're Dolphins fans. I don't know. Maybe they just like being right. I'm not telling you can't have concerns with Tua's health or that you're not convinced yet. But there is just, if you're seeing the quarterback market around this league right now, it's crazy. If you're the golden Willy Wonka ticket in the NFL right now is a good quarterback on his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
If you can elongate that for an extra season, it's dumb not to go and pick up that option. This is just smart business. So think Tua's mediocre, think he's a system quarterback. Okay, fine. But is it a better option than signing Grandpa at 50? Is it a better option than signing some dude who's on spirit quests? Is it better business than giving? And I love Lamar Jackson as a dude, as a player. Is it smarter than giving Lamar Jackson $230 million guaranteed with his injury past
and 2 first-round picks? Right. I might add, like, you were going to have to compensate the Ravens that. So you add that on to what you were about to have to pay Lamar Jackson.
This whole thing has been lunacy for me from the start. It is a weird thing with him that I don't quite understand why yet he has become one of the chosen media buzz athletes. I don't get it. It's weird, but he is. We are here with him. But this one to me is just, it was such a no-brainer that the organization was telling you the whole time. So obvious, but I thought we should at least mention it because it was big news going into the weekend.
My only thing, Tobin, with what the organization was telling us, and prior to Mike McDaniel getting here, they've told us things in the past that were wrong, that weren't true. They told us they weren't going after Tom Brady. Well, guess what? We learned they were. They lost a first-round pick over it.
Right.
And Deshaun Watson, same thing. How many times did Brian Flores get up and do his best to not commit to Tua, but kind of dodge the question and avoid it?
That was the thing that sold it for me the most, though. Like, I could tell, like, coaches lie. But Brian Flores was a terrible liar. And Chris Greer, he also must be a terrible liar, because when that whole Deshaun Watson thing was going down, that dude didn't do any media. Shut down. Not a press conference. I was going to that facility for a lot of these things. Not a peep from him until it was until Deshaun Watson's whole thing was settled and they finally discussed it. This was a complete 180 off all that. All of the public opinion was, all I needed to hear was when Mike McDaniel told you, I spent 6 months, my first 6 months of this job, convincing everybody this guy's good. You don't put in that much work into something like that, have a relationship, and think, I'm ready to jump off the ship and hire Tom Brady. I just think that was weird.
Yeah.
Good.
I was just going to say, like, if the Dolphins would have tried to have sold me on Tom Brady, let's just say these rumors were true. Like, I don't think I could have been sold on Tom Brady at 46 years old, replacing Tua. Like, you want to go trade for Lamar Jackson? I could be sold on that. You want to try to bring in Aaron Rodgers? Fine, I can be sold on that, even though he's trying to replicate the same team he hated in Green Bay. I don't get that. I know we're going to talk about it.
Very strange.
I can be sold on that. You're selling me on a 46-year-old Tom Brady? I wouldn't have been able to wrap my head around that one when you have a young guy who gave you your best offensive season when healthy since Dan Marino. That's a fact. So
True.
It never made sense to me, the Brady stuff. And the only way I could have processed it would have been if Tom Brady really wants to be within the Miami Dolphins organization. Hawk explained this to me. He said, if Tom Brady wants to buy into this organization, right? He wants to be an owner eventually. And by him coming here, it ups the value of the organization, which it would have just simply by him joining the team, joining the roster for a single season to be Tua's backup. Then fine. But you're telling me Tom Brady's going to come out of retirement again after sitting on a sand dune in Sunny Isles to be Tua Tagovailoa's backup? First of all, no. Second of all, the second Tua throws one interception, you know what's happening.
Yeah,
all of training. It didn't make sense. None of it made sense.
I'll hear it. Look, if Tua does have concussion issues this year and he can't go, yeah, I will totally buy that Tom Brady thing is a call away and that he's going to be swooping like Superman.
Wouldn't be the worst break glass in case of emergency, but I'm just saying.
But that's
sort
what
of
it's
understanding. Right.
But that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be. All right, I'll hear that out. If we're talking to dramatics and back against the wall and, you know, then okay, we're not going to go all respect to Pembroke Pines legend Mike White, you know, why did WFAN kill him? That was very strange.
They killed him with the
why did they give him angel wings?
Very bizarre.
Very strange behavior. I do want to get into Aaron Rodgers in just a second, but on to wrap up the Dolphins and what's gone on in free agency so far, I do think the last sexy thing that everybody was kind of looking forward to was there's a lot of star running backs the Dolphins were tied to. Mm-hmm. There was some Dalvin Cook fodder, Nick Hicks, who's Tua's trainer and Dalvin Cook's trainer. He was sending out cryptic tweets. Barry Jackson was saying the Dolphins had checked in on Austin Eckler and Derrick Henry. Ultimately, right now, it seems the Dolphins are going with the same backfield, which, by the way, Chris Greer did also say at the Combine they were very happy with. So this Chris Greer, he'd been honest as hell in public with everything.
Yeah.
Bringing back Jeff Wilson Jr. and Raheem Mostert on very reasonable deals. Both Mike McDaniel guys. Raheem Mostert's basically his best friend. Jeff Wilson, he basically scouted in college. So he knows these guys in and out. Enough for you? Because I was a little bit disappointed after all the star power. I like these. I like these guys, but I'm a greedy pig, and I wanted I wanted a star splash, and Dalvin Cook coming home that spoke to me. Derrick Henry, 1,500, 1,600 yards rushing last year. That would have been amazing to add on top of what they had. Are you okay with the Dolphins running it back with their running backs?
Here's what I'll say. You dangle a little Derrick Henry rumor at me, then a little Dalvin Cook rumor, then Austin Eckler rumor, and then we end up with Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert again. It's very raw right now. Like it's I am a little bit let down. I will say this: they were clearly better towards the end of the season last year. Tobin,
Yes.
remember that run from Raheem Mostert in Buffalo, not in the playoffs, but in the regular season on, I think it was Sunday night or Monday Night Football, whatever it was. Like that was, or Saturday night actually. That like to me, that type of run is what you need. You need those types of plays every now and then, so that the Dolphins don't have to go convert 3rd and 13 every bleeping possession. But they clearly improved. Jeff Wilson immediately made an impact prior to getting injured. And I'm fine with it based on the contracts, based on the money you allocated to them, because you didn't overpay. You got 2 guys you're comfortable with, 2 guys that are comfortable in your system. And here's what I will say: down the line, the Dolphins, they have to pay Christian Wilkins. They have to pay Jalen Waddle. Like all those guys, all those deals are coming up. And your offense is not going to turn into a run-first offense. Like you bring in Derrick Henry, fine, it would be. But I don't think that's ideal based on what we saw last year if Tua's healthy. So I wasn't opposed. Like, bring me Derrick Henry, bring me Dalvin Cook, bring me Austin Eckler. I'm happy with the Dolphins spending that money elsewhere, especially down the line when it comes to paying some of these guys that I don't want to lose.
Well, Zach Steeler's another one too, right? And he's a Rosenhaus guy, which Jeff Wilson is too. We know that Chris Greer has a really tight relationship with Rosenhaus, who's local down here in Miami. So that could be another tie to it too. Like, hey, take care of my guy, bring him in. Let's give him a deal where he could make up to $8 million if he has a monster season. Yeah, I get it. It's just the one thing with this running back thing, man, is just like it feels like it's been so long since they've had that beast back there.
Horse. Yeah.
And look, doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to try and get the ball in Tyreek and Waddle's hands as much as possible. Obviously, Mike McDaniel wants a little bit of a mix of it, so maybe it's wasted down here. But it did feel very much like, wow, there is a lot of noise, and I was expecting like a big splash, and they kind of just like, we're not going to make our splash there. Maybe their only splash will be Jalen Waddle. I mean, Jalen Ramsey. Oh man, I'm sure that's going to be like the 100. I'm sure I'd do that 100 times this season between him and Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Too many Jalen's. But I was just a little bit let down. I thought we were going to be sounding the orcas. I thought that things were going to get real crazy here and there. But as you mentioned that, here's the other thing that could happen. With Byron Jones, his money doesn't come free until after June. Maybe a couple of things happen. Maybe they find a back in the draft they really like.
Yeah.
Maybe after the draft, maybe more moves are out there. Something that's a little bit better of value or a little bit more to the liking. Because apparently the word on Dalvin Cook was the Vikings just aren't ready to move off him yet. So we're trying to hold strong on a big haul back. And if you're the Dolphins, I can understand it. Like, look, we feel fine. We're not desperate for it. So why jump in that water yet?
I just think they have their sights set on bringing back Patrick Laird. I really have that down in my my gut. Patrick Laird
could
season,
be right.
baby.
You could be right, dude. You know what?
Dalvin Cook would have been.
That would have been cool.
And Eckler, just for the sake of like
just
bleep the Chargers.
Yeah, just take him and put up better numbers. All right. Finally, before we get out of here, Aaron Rodgers. We're airing this. We're doing this Tuesday night. Aaron Rodgers has his appearance with Pat McAfee tomorrow. I believe it's at 1:00. I fully expect him to announce that he's going to the Jets on Pat McAfee's show. Let's just assume he's going to the Jets. It's hilarious. There was you made reference to it. There was a report today of a wish list where he wants Randall Cobb and Mercedes Lewis, and strangely Odell Beckham Jr. is on that list too, which you have Garrett Wilson. I don't really understand the need. All right. But what do you, what have been your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers soon to become a Jet? Does this make you nervous at all?
A little. I mean, if you're not a little nervous, I think you're naive, because I get it. Rodgers wasn't the same guy last year. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. We've heard it a million times. The Jets are good, man. Like, they are. I hate to admit it. F the Jets forever, but they're good. They're a good young team. And bro, like, you bring in Aaron Rodgers and it's Aaron Rodgers, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. Here's my thing though, Tobin, and I didn't even think about the Pat McAfee show. You hit this on the head. He's going to announce that bleep tomorrow on Pat McAfee.
I thought it was today. I was like, isn't he on Tuesdays? I was like, oh, I thought, because I thought during our show today, I was like, oh, he's going to announce it on Pat McAfee show, but it turns out his appearance is on Wednesday. So no, it's definitely happening on Pat McAfee show for sure.
It's happening for sure. Here's my thing. I never put it past the Jets to jet. And everybody's saying this is done. This is good. This is happening. And I think it is happening. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Ryan Tannehill is the Jets starting quarterback in 2023.
Wow. I got to tell you, honestly, if I'm Pat McAfee, I'm having a talk with Aaron Rodgers tonight. And I'll be like, hey, don't come on my show tomorrow if you don't know who you're coming. If you don't know a team. Because Pat McAfee is big enough now where it's like he could say, hey, Aaron, don't jerk me around here, okay? You don't come on tomorrow. You're gonna give me some ayahuasca answer. You better say whether you're a New York Jet or you're staying with the Packers, okay? All right, talk to you tomorrow. That's how that conversation goes. So I look, you got to give it some respect for sure. But I am with you when you say it's gonna jet. I feel like it could be even a more publicized, almost Russell Wilson. Like it could be. It could be that big of a flop, or it could be amazing. I don't know. I feel like there's no in between there for the Jets. One last thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here, dude. Mike Gesicki, eerily quiet. Yep. Not a rumor, not a peep, nothing. Is this a tight end thing? What do you make of this? There has not been any. I haven't seen him anywhere. It's the only Darren Waller got traded to the Giants today. What the hell? What nothing with Gesicki.
You're shocked though? I'm not surprised at all. I'm not.
I would have thought he would have had 9 teams lined up for him already.
No, I think he has New York Jets written all over him. That's what I've been saying the entire time. Yeah, like I just think that's what's going to end up happening. But Tobin showed that he has a massive hole. He can't block. Period. End of story. The Dolphins literally did not use him because he couldn't block. So if Mike Gesicki's on the field, guess what? This is a passing play. And he's not really like a top tier free agent. He's a good weapon. We know that. We saw it firsthand. But he's not a top tier free agent. All the moves right now, for the most part, are all, the high end free agents. Mike Gesicki thought he was probably going to get a crazy amount of money. And that probably hasn't happened. So he's just waiting out all his offers. He's trying to go out and get the best offer possible. You don't put any stock into what Mike McDaniel said, right? A couple of days ago where he's like, yeah, that door hasn't closed yet.
I don't know. I mean, like, look, if you're Mike Gesicki and the King's ransom isn't out there for you, even if it is on a 2-year deal, you love living down here. We know he loves Durham Smythe. My God, does he love Durham Smythe? So yeah, maybe not. It sounded like he said goodbye, but I just found that odd. Like, wow, there's not a tweet. There's nothing about Mike Gesicki out there. That's crazy. We've talked all this time because we've all said he's gone. He's gone. Well, all right. Well, when's he going? There's not a gauged interest. There's not a has made contact. There's nobody's made inquiries about Mike Gesicki. It's true. Just very strange. There's not a liked tweet. There's not an Instagram. There's nothing. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a Dolphins Reddit, Dolphins Twitter, Mike Gesicki. Nothing. Weird. I
didn't even think about that. Like there hasn't even been a rumor, no cryptic tweets, nothing.
Yeah, that's what
odd.
I'm not saying like, okay, he hasn't signed yet. Maybe there's not but not a visit. Like what is that? That's what's been strange to me.
Do you want him back?
Yeah, if it works, I don't see. The only thing that's weird with Mike Gesicki, because he's a really likable guy. And are we supposed to go into this with Tanner Connor? He did flash in camp, but like I am wondering, I don't understand quite why him and Tua just never seem to sync. That's strange to me because whenever Tua's hurt, Mike Gesicki seems to ball. It's a very strange thing. I can't put my finger on it. Scientists are still out trying to figure out why this happens. But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. I find it very strange. There's been nothing on him so far.
Tomorrow morning, we're posting this. There's gonna Mike Gesicki's gonna have signed. Yeah,
he's gonna make a killing from like the Cardinals. All right, man. That's our Porpoise Pod, everybody. If anything else crazy, we'll fire this puppy back up, and we'll talk to you next time.